Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the positive reception to my Krita vs. Clipstia Paint video. It really means a lot. I love the engagement and it motivates me to keep up the good work because I only have so much time for these videos. And it's awesome to see that you like them. Anyway, on to the intro. Hello everybody, I'm Happy Pinecone and today I'm going to be sharing my 5 digital art tips for beginners. Now, just to be clear, this video won't be focusing on the technical stuff like layers and flipping canvases. Rather, this is a starter kit of advice for those who wanted to try digital art. Some prep work to think about before enjoying your digital art journey. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first tip is to keep drawing before and after you got your digital art tools. Depending on the situation, it might take some time to gather all the things you need for digital art, like your art program, tablet, and so on. For me, it took around a year before I got my first tablet because it's my parents' money and I needed to convince them that this is a good venture. I mostly convinced them by showing them that I have been consistently drawing for years and that I won't drop it on a whim like most of my other hobbies. It might vary with the person, but basically it's great to keep drawing. Drawing is a skill that can go on to any medium, and if you gain a better understanding of the fundamentals like perspective, shape, and color, then you can transfer that to digital art. Especially once you got used to everything because, oh boy, digital and traditional art are completely different art mediums. And speaking of which, the second tip is to remember that despite being different mediums, digital and traditional art are both great. I heard of this digital versus traditional art discourse that happens online and I found it a little sad, like both mediums are awesome to me and made great stuff. You can choose which one you like the most of course, but it feels wrong to look down on the work of another simply because of its medium. I once had an encounter with someone, not online but in real life regarding this. Although they like my work, they still believe that digital art isn't real art because it's not physical or displayed in a museum. I didn't want to fight, so I calmly explained to them that yes, digital art isn't seen as part of the fine arts like painting, sculpting, architecture, and so on, but digital art is still a medium that requires my brain to make good art. Even if I get the best tools, digital or otherwise, if I don't know how to use them, they are rendered useless. Also, while I do understand the prestige of getting one's work to a museum, not everyone plans to do so, so just because it's not there, it doesn't mean it's not real art. It's like saying that the art done by the animation, children's book, and comics book industries don't mean anything because it's not hanging on a wall for the world to see. Fortunately, the person was open to discussion and agreed with some of my points. They even gave me some interesting insights about the matter. So yeah, it still went well. I guess the whole real art discussion is a matter of the man versus the machine dilemma. Which is doing the work? The artist or the tool? Then again, that could be applied to any medium. Take photography for example, it captures everything it sees with almost exact detail, and a lot more quickly than sketching. Does that make it unreal? Who is doing the work? The photographer or the camera? Well, in my opinion, the photographer is still doing the work because it's his eyes, experience, and understanding on composition that makes the picture. Case in point, digital and traditional art are both great and that you shouldn't feel ashamed for either. You can like both, you can choose to do both, and it's still fine because both are awesome mediums and you can make great stuff with it, so yeah. Now on to a lighter topic, the third tip is to research art programs and hardware based on your situation. The reality is that, like all things, digital art is an investment, both for you and for your wallet. Nowadays, there are plenty of options to choose from, some more affordable than others, and if you don't want to experience certain financial regrets, research is key. Research brands that are well received. Watch and read reviews to get more insight. Think about your budgets and needs. Whose money are you spending? Whether it be yours or your parents', you have to be sure that you got something of value or else no one's going to be happy. Unless you quickly return it to get a refund. If you just started, it's best to pick something that's budget friendly, but be careful because seemingly cheap tablets tend to give you an unpleasant experience, so do your research. Also, besides money, consider your environment, your workspace. Do you have enough room to buy a large tablet, or are you the type who likes to do digital as you travel? Personally for me, I live in a place that's not big enough for a large tablet, so I pick a relatively small one, like around 10 to 11 inches. Which is good enough for the living quarters I'm in. In terms of brands, Wacom is always well received, but very expensive, so There's Huion and XP Pen if you're interested. So yeah, these are some suggestions. Now on for the software. There are plenty of free options you can choose from Krita to Bang Paint, and some paid programs that if you're willing to add in more money, like Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint. I keep hearing this advice from other artists that if you were struggling with picking a software, you can always try doing the free trials, and if you like what you see, you can be willing to buy it or not. It's up to you. In my case, I already have a decently functioning laptop, so I just needed to buy a graphics tablet. My parents gave me an XP Pen Deco 2, which I love very much. It's big enough to draw on and small enough to carry around. Furthermore, I downloaded Krita as my first art program because it's free and feature-packed. Eventually, I am so invested that I decided to buy Clip Studio Paint Pro. Case in point, research on the hardware and software that works best for you and for your pockets. Once you got everything you need, the fourth tip is to know your art program's quirks. Every program has a certain quirk or feature that may or may not be annoying. Like Krita's case, the text box tool is the quirk that I find very annoying. Sunlist's program has so many features that it felt overwhelming. If you can't seem to get along with your program, don't panic. It took me a month to understand Krita, so during that time I had no idea of how certain features work until I watched someone else do it. However, once I've learned what Krita can and cannot do, using it became a breeze. Read and watch tutorials about the program. Make sure that said information is up to date. Observe your own use of the program. Sometimes the program reacts differently depending on the computer. Also, this is the part where you want to familiarize yourself on the shortcuts, how to manage layers, and how to rearrange your workspace. This will make your experience a whole lot easier. Speaking of making your life a whole lot easier, the fifth and final tip for you is to take advantage of the benefits of digital art. Digital art is very versatile. You can separate elements of your drawing through layers, change the colors quickly if you don't like them, use the transform tool to warp the shape of your drawing, and so on in a usually non-destructive manner. When doing your work, take these things in mind so that you can make your digital art illustrations more efficiently. And for those who are hesitant to do that because of the whole digital art isn't real art issue, how can you do digital art if you aren't even going to use the tools used for the said medium in the first place? That's the point of digital art. It's art, but in a digital space where you can do all sorts of things, and it's really cool. And don't worry about feeling that the computer's doing the work. It's technically, it is a tool, but you're basically doing most of the work because it's still your brain. You still need to know how to use everything. Like I said earlier in the second tip, if you don't know how to use something, no matter how advanced your technology or tools are, they are useless if you don't know what you're doing. So yes, either way, you're still using your brain, so don't worry about it. Take advantage of your tools, especially your digital art tools. And those are my 5 digital art tips for beginners. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, consider ringing the bell and subscribing to become notified with my latest videos. Apparently 95% of you watching aren't subscribed yet, so why not? I usually upload monthly, but rest assured that each video is awesome. Also, consider reading my webcomic When Air Clones Rule the World. It's fun to write, and I'm sure, or hoping, that it's fun to read as well. Once again, thanks for watching. I am Happy Pinecone, and see you next time.